Rossoneri fans, welcome back to this new edition of our AC Milan Talk. Today we're going to be discussing everything about the Rossoneri world. I'm not alone. Sheridan Bird, welcome back.
Hi Juicy, hi everybody, great to be here.
Adriano Del Monte.
Hello Juicy, lovely to see you as always.
We're going to talk about everything that happened in the Champions League and also what's happening in the league in the next few days. We're ready, so let's begin. So unfortunately, the race of AC Milan to the Champions League Cup stops after what happened against Inter in the first and second leg. Sheridan.
Well, exactly. It's as you say, the journey is over, but I think now that we've had some time to look over the result, the dust has settled. I think the only natural response is just pride at this journey. The fact that this team, which is mainly made of young players, young, hungry players, reached the semi-final in the second year back in the tournament after a long hiatus, is something to be proud of. The results didn't go the way Milan wanted in the first half. The team showed some really good. There were some good moves. They played well. They played with intensity, but were unable to find the all-important goal. And shortly we'll see the chance for Brahim Diaz. This was wonderful work from Sandro Tonali, who was a lion in, well, over the 180 minutes he was a lion. And there's Brahim Diaz. It's easy for us to say, Adriano, sitting on this comfortable sofa, that he could have done better, but it's very different in the heat of the moment.
Absolutely, of course. Look, the initial reaction is, of course, disappointment to come so close and obviously just miss out at the final hurdle. But the players, Mr. Pioli, everyone involved should be very, very proud because it has been a tremendous run. Let's not forget, of course, a very long season off the back of a successful Serie A campaign last time out, and then obviously a return to the Champions League last season where these players obtained some invaluable experience, which obviously helped coming into this season. And a semi-final run, I think looking back on this season, we will all do so with very fond memories indeed. And of course, Sheridan, yes, there were some half chances in this match. And look, on another night, they go the other way, perhaps a different game. But in the end, look, Lautaro gets that goal there, 1-0 it finishes. But I think heads held high because these players put themselves on the line, got to a semi-final, achieved great things this season, and I'm sure that this experience yet again, Juicy, will hold them in better form for the future.
We got the chance to take a look at a few of great Mike Maignan saves there. Also, we have to say, yes, the race for us is over, but it was 12 beautiful games that got us here, Sheridan. It
was wonderful, and I think it's more than anybody could have expected. Even the staunchest supporters, even the directors, even the coaching staff, they know how good this squad is. But if you had said in September, Juicy, that this team would have got to the semi-finals so quickly upon returning to Europe's greatest, the world's greatest club competition, I would have said excellent achievement. And, you know, there's tears. You can see Theo. Theo went to the World Cup final with France, as did Olivier Giroud. So, as Adriano said, there was fatigue. It's been a very long season. But what they did to get to the semi-finals, it's the end for this season. But I think it has to be a starting point for greater achievements.
It's another step in the right direction. And I think it's really, really important to reflect on these last two seasons. I mentioned, obviously, a return to the Champions League last season for the first time in a long time, and obviously a first semi-final here for a very long time as well. So reflecting, of course, last season into a group with Liverpool, Atletico, Porto, very, very difficult last season. These players then came into this season with a lot more confidence. Of course, this season we go back to the group stage. Chelsea, Dinamo Zagreb, Salzburg, round of 16 against Tottenham, quarterfinals against Napoli, the Italian champions, and then obviously a semi-final here against Inter. It's been a very profitable 2 seasons in this competition for this young group now going forward. And look, I'm excited for what the future holds, and I think that positivity will certainly be what's maintained and what we remember from this journey so far.
Really important that you mentioned the future, because the technical area director Paolo Maldini spoke up after the game, so let's listen to his words together.
Sulla partita, insomma, una partita determinata anche molto dal risultato dell'andata, dove comunque sono stati più bravi di noi e nelle due gare credo che abbiano meritato di andare loro in finale. Oggi abbiamo fatto una discreta gara, sai, poi queste partite possono cambiare con un episodio, questo episodio non è stato a nostro favore, ma devo dire che alla fine credo che abbiano meritato. È stata veramente una cosa inesperata, adesso dobbiamo riuscire a concentrarci sulle ultime 3 partite del campionato, se dovessimo arrivare nelle prime 4 comunque sarebbe una stagione fantastica. E naturalmente quando perdi comunque semifinale con l'Inter diciamo questa sconfitta pesa di più, ma questo non toglie niente a quello che abbiamo fatto oggi. Il nostro percorso è in crescita, io dico sempre che non dobbiamo mai dimenticarci da dove siamo partiti. 5 anni senza Champions League, una squadra non tanto giovane, con giocatori che avevano diciamo un valore diciamo medio sul mercato. Adesso abbiamo una rosa giovane, giocatori che hanno con noi contratti lunghi, dobbiamo riuscire a prendere questa occasione per poter poi fare il gradino superiore per andare a competere con tutti.
Paolo Maldini mentioned the growth of the team in the last years, 5 years without Champions League, and then last year we got the Scudetto, now we got to the semifinals of Champions League. Actually, right, what were you saying, Adriano, is looking at the future.
Absolutely, and classy as always from Paolo Maldini in his response there immediately after the match. Of course, must be very difficult for everyone involved, obviously the disappointment, but what I liked most about his quotes post-match were the simple fact that defeat to Inter in a semi-final should not take the gloss away from the achievement. It has been a remarkable run and so many positives to take away from the disappointment.
Sheridan.
Yeah, I mean, what Paolo Maldini said there is just perfect. He knows what he's talking about. He's a classy director or chief of the technical area. He speaks sense. He knows the game perfectly. And I'd say if there are any Milan fans out there watching who are still feeling a bit down, a bit disappointed about the result, just listen to what Paolo said, because it's a squad that's been built with caution financially, haven't spent crazy amounts of money, have bought young players who can develop, and 1 or 2 veterans as well to guide the youngsters, and the future is very bright. And like I say, just listen to the words of Mr. Maldini again, because he knows what he's talking about.
The building blocks are there. That's the point now. There is a foundation in place to take this club back to where it belongs, and that's the top of Italian and European football. And it's a process, and that requires patience, like everything in life, Giussi. So, look, a lot of love for Paolo Maldini there, a lot of respect, of course, as always. Classy words, as Sheridan said, and again, for me, another experience to take this team forward into next season.
Now we're going to be listening to the words of our coach Stefano Pioli after the game.
Una grande delusione, inutile nasconderlo, perché volevamo andare in finale, perché era un derby e quindi purtroppo non siamo riusciti. Gli impianti ci sono per i primi 11 minuti della partita d'andata, ci sono perché potevamo segnare il gol stasera che poteva cambiare forse l'inizio della partita, ci sono perché probabilmente, cioè non probabilmente, non abbiamo avuto il leao migliore in entrambe le partite e quindi se in queste partite non sei al top dopo diventa più difficile. Credo che il Milan quest'anno abbia provato a essere competitivo sia in campionato che in Champions. In Champions la cosa ha funzionato fino purtroppo alla semifinale, in campionato qualcosina stiamo pagando e quindi sicuramente è una stagione che ci sta insegnando tanto. Per quanto mi riguarda abbiamo capito certe situazioni che potremo sviluppare meglio nel futuro e che potremo migliorare per diventare ancora più forti, perché l'obiettivo è quello, essere competitivi in entrambe le competizioni. Se alla fine non giocheremo la Champions l'anno prossimo non potrà essere una stagione positiva.
These were the words of our coach Stefano Pioli, also talking about how this season in particular can teach us something and we can improve by learning from it.
Yeah, I think that the team have to take it as a highly positive journey to the semi-finals, and there was disappointment, maybe not being clinical enough with those chances, particularly in the second leg on Tuesday evening, is a lesson that you just have to finish take your chances in Europe. As I said to you a few weeks ago, Giussi, you have to finish your dinner.
You did say that.
I
remember
did
it
say
very
that.
well.
I did
but
say that.
look, let's not forget, this was a semi-final of the UEFA Champions League. It is a tremendous, tremendous achievement. We remember the wonderful season that was last campaign with the Serie A. To have now done this in back-to-back seasons, it's a very good run for Mr. Pioli and this team.
Of course, in this very ending of his speech, he also mentioned how important it is to get to the Champions League next season. Now, it's 3 very decisive matches, the one ahead of AC Milan. Next one is the one against Sampdoria, already in the very last place in the table. So what do you expect? Now we're 61 points on the table.
Well, obviously this match is significant. Very, very important. 3 points up for grabs here. We've seen the table. We know the fixture. Sampdoria already relegated, Sheridan. So they'll come in with, well, really nothing to lose at San Siro. It was a tight match earlier in the campaign, but these 3 points, absolutely crucial for Mr. Pioli and his players to respond.
Yeah, it's a shame for Sampdoria. We have to say one of the fine teams, a historic team in Italian football, but Sampdoria are in Serie B next year, so would suggest that Milan have got a good chance. Have to go into the game at home to Sampdoria, confident of taking all 3 points. And the remaining matches of this season in Serie A for Milan are finals. I know it's a cliche that everyone says, you know, we've got 3 finals to finish the season with, but Milan they have to treat each game as a really crucial chance to get points on the board to return to the UEFA Champions League, because we say it every week, Adriano, Giusy, that this club, Milan, belong in the Champions League. They're part of the Champions League furniture.
Look, they are 3 finals, but it's 1 game at a time, absolutely, because there are some higher profile opponents to come, but this one against the already relegated Sampdoria must be respected. At home, I'm sure another packed San Siro, and yet very important 3 points up for grabs. But this was the moment, Sheridan, earlier in the campaign. Giroud, one of many goals this season, 2-1 win, so let's hope for a repeat result this time around.
Right, also Sampdoria or Stankovic already relegated, as you said, and they're playing actually with no pressure on, though. It could be risky, Sheridan.
It could be. Stankovic Dejan Stankovic might choose to play some of the younger players, give some players for Sampdoria's future a taste of first-team action. You're right, there's no pressure, but Milan have to ignore that. And one of the good things about football is that there's always another match for you to focus on. So the disappointment of the Champions League, it won't linger, because there's no time in modern football. You feel a bit sorry for yourself and you regroup and you analyse matches that don't go in your favour. But then, you know, 24 hours later, you have to move on to the next one. And that's what Mr. Pioli and his team and the coaching staff will be doing, trying to find a way to stop Sampdoria.
The disappointment may not linger, but you're right, it's an opportunity to respond and react and, well, put away the memories of midweek. So a nice opportunity a few days later to hopefully get some goals, another important 3 points, and continue that quest for a finish in the top 4.
Now we've discussed everything about the first team. We're going to be jumping into the world of our AC Milan women. Last match played by our girls, a good draw against Roma, champions of Italy. Now, of course, the rest and then again, derby.
To finish off the season, of course.
Right.
1 match to go for the girls. Look, the recent results, I've said it time and time again, Sheridan, but I love this new format of the season whereby Milan here finishing in the top 5, get to play the other top clubs. And as a result, we've seen continually improved performances. Another important point here against the league champions. Well, there was an opportunity to win it, really. Obviously, Roma equalising in this one very, very late. The girls here went 2 goals ahead early on. So, again, they're capable of matching the very, very best in this country. And for me, I take a lot of confidence for them going into next season. Yeah,
it was a brilliant match. It was a really good performance by the
Maybe they deserved more.
Sofia made it 1-0, and it was just it was a Roma team that rested some of their stars, which is understandable. They're already champions, but Milan played so well. There's great work there into the area from Sara Trighe, and Well, you know who scored the goal, because I don't have to say her name. There she is. Martina Piemonte made it 2-0, and it looked like a really good result, a first defeat for Roma since they were crowned champions. And it was just, as you say, this new format means that there are games against tough teams, so you sharpen your ability
Well, it
up.
requires them to turn up always, and there are no easy matches whatsoever, and that is really good for that continual development. And in actual fact, for our girls, the last 3 matches against Juventus, Fiorentina, and of course Roma, they've been ahead in all 3 matches, and that is really important to take. And look, hopefully next time 3 points, but 1 match to play still in the season against Inter, and hopefully a big 3 points to finish it off well.
Again, they have gone unbeaten, actually, so now to close the season at a very good place, they have to defend the 3rd place on the table, Adriano.
Absolutely, and again, it's a nice challenge, a nice objective, a nice target for them to finish off well. 3rd place would be a great finish, but now the standard is set. Hopefully next season, a top 2 finish, Champions League football, and that's what it's all about, continued development and progression.
Right now, we have discussed everything about the women. Let's jump into the world of our under-19. Now the salvation of our men, because of course now it's all about smiles for our under-19, Sheridan.
Yeah, similar to the women's team, in 2023, the under-19s have been really impressive, and Mr. Abate, I think, has found the starting 11 that he prefers, but he's got plenty of options, and as you can see there from the top of that group of results, a really impressive victory against Hellas Verona in Verona, climbing up the table steadily. It wasn't too long ago that Adriano and I were discussing Milan, just looking over their shoulders about worrying about the lower reaches, the lower positions of the table. But they've put together some really good form. Goals are coming from everywhere. The first goal here, scored by Ugo Cuenca, I believe, was something very, very special, and it just capped a really good away performance. He's still going. He's still going into the area. No one stopped him. Goes for the shot, and look at that, Adriano. That is a special goal. I bet you didn't score many like that.
And that was special commentary as well, Sheridan. A lovely, lovely finish. And you are right. Look, the recent form has been great. We know that over the course of this season, Sheridan, with balancing youth league commitments and Serie A, it's difficult. It's difficult at any level for any top club to manage multiple competitions. So perhaps that's why at times there were a couple of points dropped earlier in the campaign. But in this second half of the season, particularly in recent months, some fine performances and certainly some stars to watch for the future.
Now 2 more games to go, and we're already at 44 points. It's the best result of the last years. Sheridan.
It's just those points are a monument to the work that Ignazio Abate and his team have done. They've bounced back from tough times, and as I say, some of the players, the attacking players, are really flourishing as the season ends. It's almost a case of we don't want the season to finish because they're playing so well. And I want to say it again, that goal we saw from Ugo Cuenca was fantastic. That was like Lionel Messi, and he's a really bright star for the future of Milan. But there are so many wonderful attackers playing for the under-19s. It's an exciting time.
Now it's the time of the game against Juventus. They have the chance to get revenge, Adriano.
Well, again, not many matches to play for the remainder of the campaign. Targeting a top half finish. Hopefully there are some important points to be obtained. And look, Juve and Milan, always a great clash at any level, so certainly looking forward to it.
Of course, now we've discussed everything about the under-19 too. Sheridan Bird, thank you for being with me.
Thank you very much, an absolute pleasure.
Adriano Del Monte, I know this is your favorite day of the week.
Always.
We reunite.
Always is, Juicy. Always a pleasure, thank you.
So thank you all for being with us. We're going to be meeting again next week to discuss everything about AC Milan.